What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Art of War stream. This time it is Build a List, and we are going to be building a Blood Angels list here today for you. That's going to be played live next week on the YouTube game, and I believe that's Blood Angels into new and improved Death Guard.
Yes. So Death Guard will be, it's a classic matchup from back in the day. I remember playing that a fair few times on stream. And so we're looking to put on the table again. New Death Guard, and then new Space Marines rules.
Yep, so we are going to be using the new Space Marine rules in this. But if you're unfamiliar with Build a List, it is a weekly feature that we do where we design a list from scratch that we intend to play on stream. And the whole point of the video is to kind of go into the thought process of list building. Like, what are our choices? Where do we start? And how do we kind of build all the tools that we want into a single cohesive list?
Exactly. Now, normally this is live, but Siegs and I, high five,
Boom.
are at Tampa right now, GW Tampa, playing in front of the world.
Jack's going to be playing Blood Angels. We're spoiling that right now.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Definitely don't check BCP.
If it says something different, it's Blood Angels.
If it says something different, it's Blood Angels. No, so... We're building a list, and we're gonna play live on camera.
If you like this type of content, please give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below letting us know what you think of the list, how you're feeling about Blood Angels in the new meta, what's working for you. We'd love to hear your ideas. And in addition, if you want to see more content from us, check out the War Room in the description below, thewarroom.vhx.tv. And there's a 3-day free trial. Check it out. There's Blood Angels content in there, like their State of the Faction video, which Jack did. And there's a ton of new Space Marine content coming out in there, including on all the different detachments related to Space Marines.
That's right. So the first question when you're doing a Space Marine list is, what detachment are you going to choose? I'm still not 100%, but I think the one that I think is the most interesting currently is Vanguard Spearhead. So you do get a decent amount out of Sons of Sanguinius. I don't really want to play Death Company without +1 strength and attacks on the charge, if I'm being real with you. Or the +1 attacks, at least. Blade Guard at 5 attacks at strength 6 is just a whole different beast to 4 attacks at strength 5. Right? You just hit these breakpoints that are so much nicer. So it is possible that looking at this, I go, oh, man, maybe this list just wants to be Sons of Sanguinius, because you get all your melee units hit that much harder. But you do get some interesting things in the Vanguard Spearhead, as well as getting interesting things in the rest of the detachments. I feel like something like... the Gladius didn't change at all, so I don't think that's particularly interesting. Something like the Anvil Siege Force or the Iron Storm or the Storm Lance, I think, doesn't really showcase... Like, why be Blood Angels? Right, you can be a red-painted chapter of the Iron Storm, and that's totally fine. That's kind of all of our Iron Storm content, and you'll see some of that. I think last week's game was Iron Storm.
Yep.
So if you want to see what Blood Angels can do with the Iron Storm, well, it's basically exactly that. And I think that's super cool, but it's not Blood Angel specific. Firestorm, kind of the same deal. Nothing really Blood Angel-y in there, except every detachment's going to have the Sanguinius. If it doesn't, I'm coming to find you. That's just how it is. And I'm going to give you a hug. I'm going to ask what's wrong. What's going on, champ? First Company Task Force is something we don't talk about. It's fine. So I think the Vanguard Spearhead is the coolest, personally.
It's like a bag of tricks.
It is. Now, I will say Sons of Sanguinius is not a bad detachment. It's not a bad detachment. You get +1 strength and attacks to everybody on the charge. You have access to lance and lethal hits. You have access to fallback and charge. You have access to fights on death. A lot of abilities to manipulate combat, which I think is really good for the Blood Angel specific units. So if you're going more Sons of Sanguinius, I think you go very heavy into the melee units, and we might end up there. But right now we're going to start with the Vanguard Spearhead, which is more of a mixed bag. Has no damage output buffs at all. It has damage output for melee. For shooting, it has 1, and it's quite good. But the 2 CP melee weapons gain precision is all right. I mean, it means Abaddon ain't living through a first round of combat anymore. That's something that's very important to me.
I'm just moving the Sanguinius in here.
Oh, yes, big time.
I'm not even going to play around.
Yeah, no, the Sanguinius is in the list. Let me see how many points he is. I think he's 140. I think he's 140 now. I think he got cheaper. Yeah, he's 140. That bad boy's in the list.
Sweet.
Yeah. The Sanguinius is one of the best, possibly the best lone op in the game.
A fight first lone op who hits like a train, has an amazing rule to come in from reserve and mess with your opponent's plans.
Yeah. No, he's just good.
he's pretty much, if you're running any sort of Blood Angels thing, you should get him.
I have seen people arguing that the Sanguinor is in fact bad. And I don't want to cast aspersions, but I suspect that if they're looking for the thing that is bad, they should first look inwards. Vanguard Spearhead's amazing. Why do we want Vanguard Spearhead, though? Vanguard Spearhead does a couple things. One, gives you the Blade Driven Deep, which lets an infantry unit infiltrate, which I think is pretty cool. Ghostweave Cloak, which lets a character become a lone operative. Okay, gets stealth. Not bad. There's some other ones in there that are decent. The whole detachment gets -1 to hit and cover if your opponent is outside of... Yeah, so if I could take 2 Sanguinors, I definitely would. If you are outside 12 inches of your opponent, you get those durability buffs. You can sticky objectives at the start of either command phase. You have Armor of Contempt, same as anyone else. You have some stratagems. The big ones are 1 CP. If you're more than 12 inches away, you get +1 ballistic skill and AP. That is really, really good. Has to be infantry, but it's very, very good. Calculated Feint, where you move D6 or 6 inches when your opponent declares you as a charge target, is absurd. It's absurd. It's an incredible mobility thing. And then Guerrilla Tactics lets you pick up units and put them into strategic reserve and then put them back down.
Fantastic.
Great. That's the good stuff. So at the end, we'll weigh whether we want this to be Vanguard Spearhead or Sons of Sanguinius, but, currently we're trying this. All right. First up, what units are we going to use with Strike from the Shadows? Well, I think a very good one is a squad of Inceptors. A squad of 6 Inceptors with Bolters. Because then they hit on 2s, and I believe they are
230?
220, I believe.
220.
220.
Oh, yeah, they went down 5 points. Yep.
Yeah.
So it should be 110 for 3 guys, which is quite reasonable for what you get here. They also just mess with your opponent's screening, too, because they still have their rule where they can come 3.1 away and blow you up.
And 6 Inceptors with Bolters at 12.1 inches using the strat actually hits very, very hard. They hit on 2s with full rerolls if you're targeting your Oath target. And then they're twin-linked and they're AP2. So you just pile on a ton of saves onto your opponent because you can reroll full hit rolls fishing for those 6s to get the sustained hits. And then you have full rerolls to wound as well, which lets you point at a target and say, I wish you to stop living.
It's really, really good.
It's really, really good. I want a second unit to use Strike from the Shadows because Inceptors can kind of be a one-way ticket. So I am down to take a second one.
Bam.
That's a decent amount of the shooting package I want to take. You drop them in, you pay a CP, you blow your opponent up.
And you want to do all bolters, no plasma?
That's right. I think these are dedicated, I'm going to spend Strike from the Shadows when this unit shoots every turn. And with that, the bolters become significantly better.
Yeah.
So then we want to look at what unit do we want to infiltrate with Blade Driven Deep. And the question is, it's probably Death Company or Sanguinary Guard, right? It's probably one of those two.
Yep.
Now, Sanguinary Guard got a lot cheaper, and I like them quite a bit, right? They're my favorite unit in the game, which is something that I say every time it comes up. But they did get a lot cheaper. They are now 35 points a model, and them in combat is not the best. It is 4 attacks at strength 5, AP2, damage 2, which isn't amazing, and they hit on 3s instead of 2s. They are a bit tougher to kill than usual. In combat, they are -1 to hit, -1 to wound if you have the Warlord in there, but in shooting, they are not. So I think probably what you want to do is you want to include Death Company, right? Death Company natively reroll to hit, come with Inferno Pistols and Power Fists, and they hit pretty damn hard. So I'm going to say 10 Death Company with jump packs.
How many points is that going to run us?
That's going to run us 260.
260. That's not too bad, though.
That's not too bad.
It really is not too bad for an alpha unit that can just hit you turn 1.
Yes. And what you want to include with that, because we need a generic character, not Lamarty's, unfortunately, is we probably want a Chaplain with jump pack, which I believe is now 75 points. I think it went cheaper. I'm going to double check, though.
Okay. And his enhancement is going to be...
I don't think that changed. I think the points here are correct in the back. And Vanguard Spearhead, Blade Driven Deep is 25.
25. Okay,
25.
so he would be probably 100 points?
Yes.
Blade Driven Deep.
So that is
a very cool sounding one.
It is. That's why I said it every time I had the opportunity to. So that is an expensive unit, right? That's 360 points. You need to make sure if it takes a one-way trip, that's not the end of the line.
It's Value Town. It's got to do value.
It's got to do value. It's got to do more than just kill a unit. It's got to kill a unit and
like
block your opponent.
Tag a bunch of stuff that can't fall back and do things. Maybe,
buy you a whole turn.
Yep. Capture enemy outpost.
Exactly. So if we're looking to do that, right? If we are looking to buy ourselves a big old turn, what are we looking to do then? Well, what we're looking to do then is we are looking to capitalize on that big old turn. And that probably means more Death Company, if I had to guess.
Just a redundancy factor there.
Well, so what I want is I want this unit to be disruptive. You don't always throw it away turn one. That would be a huge mistake a lot of the time. But when it goes in, I want it to blow up a key resource and stop a bunch of my opponent's resources from activating. And if you're doing that, the best thing you can do to follow up on that is to follow up on that with additional units.
And is that going to add Lamartes?
It sure is, actually. That one is getting Lamartes in here right quick. Lamartes is 110.
10.
And he is very good.
Who's our warlord? Is Sanguinor?
It can be anyone, really. I mean, what we could do is we could take a captain and put him in a squad of Sanguinary Guard. The problem is this list doesn't hit as hard as Sons of Sanguinius, right? If we're going mass... I mean, let me add up some points and see where we're at. Right, because we have the Sanguinor, we have the Chaplain with Blade Driven Deep, we have Lamartes, we have 260 plus 260 plus 440. We have 1310. That's not unreasonable. I mean, the thing we could do, right, is we could go Sons of Sanguinius and go melee rushdown.
Mm-hmm. I really like these Inceptors, though. Shooting is very valuable, especially with all the rerolls they have.
They do hit very, very hard.
Being able to clear the screens, being able to force your... the thing is, Death Company will force most opponents back, but as soon as they have very good screens, they can still kind of be relatively aggressive, move blocking them, forcing them to land in front. Whereas the Inceptors, any of that stuff is just going to get picked up where you don't have to commit Death Company into a screen.
That's true.
I really like.
That's true. I would like one long-range shooting unit.
We're also going to need some mission play here.
Yes, we're going to need some mission play here. What I would really like, I think, is... I don't know if we need long-range shooting. I think we need, one more melee threat. And then... Because that's going to be most of our game plan with the Inceptors as the I'm going to shoot people to death. If I need to shoot something, the Inceptors are going to do it.
Yep.
And then I need one more melee threat, and then I need mission play. And that's probably where the list would end up, right?
Yeah, so we have a really amazing strat guerrilla tactics here.
Yep.
To go back into reserve.
Yes.
Which is fantastic for scoring.
Yep. You're able to pick up scout squads, even though scout squads can pick themselves up. That's it specifically affects 2 Phobos or scout units. But scouts can already go up.
They have that on their data sheet?
They do. What if they are outside 3 inches but within 6 inches? Then the scout data sheet is turned off, but this isn't.
So what are we thinking? Infiltrators, so that they just really fully screen our back. Scouts, the lone op access.
Scouts are one of the best units in Space Marines, so I would say bare minimum we're taking 2 squads.
Okay.
They're 55 points apiece. They teleport around the board, doing secondaries. They are very good. They have to be outside 6 inches of your opponent's models, but then they can just do it. They're 55 points. They are...
How many do you think here? At least 2 squads?
At bare minimum 2 squads. It's probably going to end up... Honestly, put in 3.
Yeah.
Let's not beat around the bush. That's where we're going to end up. So 3 squads of scouts.
Games Workshop thought they stopped scouts, and then they were like, all right, new kit, new time.
Oh, yeah.
They're back.
Oh, yeah. Scouts are so good. For their points, they just teleport around doing secondaries, holding space at dirt cheap. And, then when you need them, they just pick up, put down, pick up, put down.
Yeah, I'm envious.
So the last thing we could do is we could take a squad of intercessors to sticky objectives. Because sticking objectives is quite good. I don't know if that's really where we want to go here.
These guys, one of them holding our backfield seems pretty reasonable.
The Calidus Eversur package is as much scoring as we're ever going to need. If we add that on here, then we are golden in terms of scoring.
Yep.
let's do that and then see if we want to cut points. So that's going to be a Calidus plus an Eversur. That leaves us with 360 points left.
Okay. Calidus assassin. Mm-hmm. And that gives us access to effect ability if we really need it.
Yeah,
pesky
leave out the Eversur. We already have a lone op in the Sanguinor. And if we're going to include the Eversur, I probably would just take like a Gravis Captain with the lone operative stealth.
Okay.
So the Calidus can stay in because the Calidus teleports and does cool stuff. The Eversur, this list right here, we have 435 points left. So how do we want to spend that?
So
well,
you're saying you wanted one more melee threat here.
I would love one more melee threat.
Which one are you thinking?
Well, I don't really think there's anything that is as good as Death Company at being a melee threat.
What about Death Company on foot out of a Rhino?
Death Company on foot out of a Rhino is pretty good. Let me see how many points they are. I believe they're not too many. The Rhino does make them quite a bit more expensive. So they are, for a 10-man squad, they are 30 points cheaper. Are you thinking of taking them with...
Ye old advance and chargey.
Tycho? So the thing about Tycho,
it does get pricey. It does get quite pricey, and a 6-inch moving unit advancing and charging is not better than a 12-inch moving unit that charges with a real charge. Mm-hmm. I think we could just slap a 10-man Death Company with no character and just slap it in the list. The nice part about the Chaplain with the jump pack is they get +1 to wound, which means that they will hurt really bad. So if we do that, I don't think we need to hit any harder in combat. Yeah, probably not.
Probably not.
30
we have
Death Company?
we have our scoring locked up. So now the thing would be, can we include one more thing to shoot? Right?
What are you thinking here?
Well, if we take a look at...
So we've heard like aggressors have been quite popular recently.
Aggressors are pretty damn good.
How many points do we have?
We have 175. And I'm willing to cut like a squad of scouts to get us to a reasonable level because we have a decent amount of points.
We don't have the Libby Dread combo here.
We do not have the Libby Dread, but I don't know if this list really
work.
supports it.
It doesn't really work with it doesn't. The Interceptors don't need it.
Yeah, I do think the Libby Dread combo is quite good, where you use the Librarian Dreadnought to throw units around the board and then shoot. Mm-hmm. But I may have fallen a bit in love with Death Company. It's a little hard to tell. Yeah, it's possible that what we want is to cut Death Company and put in like the Libby Dread and then another shooting unit, but I just don't think you get value out of it unless your whole list is designed around it. Yeah. We could go Company Heroes. Company Heroes is a pretty decent unit. It's like 95 points, and you just get a solid unit. You would need a captain. It's not bad. We could... As far as shooting units go, we don't have a ton of options that are very good. That's unfortunate. Sternguard veterans got a little bit gutted.
It's Sternguard and the aggressors kind of overlap a bit with the bolter ones here, the bolter inceptors.
Yes. They don't really target different things. I mean...
So our anti-tank really is the combat and potential rerolls from the bolters.
Yes. I do think... Okay, so a bit of a meta thing here, right? Last week we did Vanguard Spearhead for, just generic Marines. And then this is Blood Angels Vanguard Spearhead. And this includes a bunch of Death Company and Sanguinius because I think they are very good units. The best anti-tank long-range unit you're going to find in Vanguard Spearhead is Devastator Centurions, I think. I've just flipped through the book. I don't see anything else. Because you want an infantry-based shooting unit that does a decent amount of damage. Now, we don't have enough points for Devastator Centurions.
Not even close.
We could drop Death Company, one unit Death Company, and get them in, but we don't have to do that. Honestly, it could just be as simple as, instead of Devastator Centurions, Devastators, just Devastators. Regular Devastators, let's take a look at their profile. Come on. Regular Devastator squads are significantly cheaper. I'll have to look up the exact price point, but they are significantly cheaper.
Which weapon are you thinking? Grav, multi-meltas, las cannons for the long range?
Probably the las cannons, honestly. Now, they're all ballistic skill 4, which would go to ballistic skill 3 with the stratagem. They're all ballistic skill 4. You're probably targeting the oath target, so you get rerolls to hit. In that case, probably grav cannons, because they wound on 2s.
Just for the extra volume, and they'll get the +1 AP, right?
Yes, they get the +1 AP to AP2.
Okay.
And that is like a cheaper unit. You can teleport around a little bit, try and find little places to put them. I don't believe they got cheaper. I believe they are still 120 points for a squad of 5. And you can just pick it up, put it down, shoot your grav cannons. And the fact that you don't get wound rerolls means I'm a little leery of anything that's like low number of shots, wounds on 3s or anything. So at least grav cannons are 12 shots that wound on 2s and are AP2, not ignores cover, but if it remains stationary, they get ignores cover. That's cute.
You said 120?
They are 120, yes.
Okay.
So that leaves us with 55 points left.
We can't take a 4th scout.
I would take a 4th scout if I could. We could cut the Calidus and get in another Devastator unit.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
No, I actually kind of like that, to be honest with you.
Probably
Just
with the 3 scout squads, we don't really need the Calidus.
3 scouts and the Sanguinius, like I feel like we're probably okay, right?
We should be. And this way, we against like cheaper vehicles or wounded stuff, we can commit 5 dudes instead of 10 Death Company.
So we have the Sanguinius with the Chaplain, with Lamarties, with 3 units of Scouts, plus a lot of Death Company, my god, plus 2 units of Inceptors, plus 2 units of Devastators, and we end up with 25 points left. So the question is, do we want to change anything around with 25 points? Is there something that we would want to do?
Can one of the scouts become something else?
Become something that is 80 points? I believe so. So let's take a look. Now, a lot of Space Marine...
Or there's a shooting Renault that's 150 points.
145. There really isn't one that's as good as Devastators at 145. Now, we could take a tank, but I don't really love tanks in this list. We could take a Whirlwind. It's exactly 145 now. And it would hold the backfield. It's not the worst. Without Oath being as good, I don't like it as much anymore.
It's not really going to be that consistent at doing anything?
No, it's going to be very consistent at actually doing nothing. We could... there's really just not much to spend it on, to be honest with you. Yeah, there just really isn't. Devastators are the best infantry shooting unit. Honestly, the question is, do we need 4 units that are all trying to use the same stratagem? The answer is probably no. Do we want to turn 6 Inceptors into a real, like, hammer unit? Because Devastators, I don't think at 145 are going to turn into a real unit.
Yeah.
But Devastators, Inceptors at 245 might.
What can you get for 245?
It's an excellent question. Things
capped out on Death Company and
yeah, not a hell of a lot.
Anything else Blood Angel specific that you would want to add in here?
So something like a Ball Predator is not bad because it's good into it's good outside of Oath because it auto hits. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, instead of it would be 250 for 2 of them. And not
just off.
So the Flamestorm Cannon is a very good gun. It would be pretty decent. You have a lot of flamers. Helps out against light infantry, that sort of thing. We could take a Furio, or not a Furioso. Where's the Death Company Dreadnought? Now, it's unclear how many times the Death Company Dreadnought gets to swing. Unfortunately. It is 165. The Furioso... Why is the Furioso cheaper? Furioso hits pretty damn hard. It's AP3 twin-linked, which is actually nice, because AP2 on the Redemptors is a bit embarrassing. Honestly, we can't even change out a Devastator unit for a Gladiator. Because it's too many... Gladiator's 150. Yeah, this is a little bit on the unfortunate end.
What if we do 10-10-5 Death Company?
That could work. How many? We got 130 points back, so we'd have 155.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good.
What would that get us?
155 would get us probably a gladiator of some kind. It would get us something that doesn't care about strats, doesn't care about having to use abilities. Ballistus dreadnoughts are going to be 140.
That's not bad.
They're quite good at 140. Honestly, what we probably want to do is leave it as is and just swap one of the Devastators for a Ballistus. It'll just be a little tougher. It'll push a point a little more. And we'll just do that.
Okay.
It's just a bit better at what you want to do. It doesn't synergize at all, but that is okay. It's got a decent data sheet, and I think that's what's important here.
It's the long-range gun. It just pop out, finish off that target, or put a bunch of damage so you can finish it off.
Yep. And this is gonna be fun. So we're gonna get to run at you with a whole bunch of Death Company. I believe the phrase is "get wrecked."
Get wrecked.
Get wrecked. That's what's gonna happen here, and it's gonna be fun.
Is there any other tricks we would want to build around with Vanguard?
So there's just the one trick of running away when your opponent targets you. That's pretty much it. And then infantry teleporting and getting better damage. The question here is, why are we Vanguard Spearhead? Mm-hmm. And I think the answer is, I'm not 100% sure.
It's to get these bolter interceptors doing stuff?
Sure. I think what we want to do, is we want to switch over to Sons of Sanguinius. Because we still have plenty of time to futz around with this.
Well, what's making you hesitant about
so
this?
We're not actually getting a lot of value out of the Vanguard Spearhead here. We have the one unit that's infiltrating, but that's it. It's just one unit, right? We have the one unit that's infiltrating, but that is all that he does. And then after that, we are basically just running away when someone tries to charge us. But if somebody tries to charge us in Sons of Sanguinius, we can just fight on death and kill them, right? And then we hit harder when we actually hit. And it's literally just the Inceptors being better, but I don't actually know if we need that as much, right? If we cut... Ballistus Dreadnoughts are so good outside of needing, like, benefits or buffs or whatever at 140, that I could just see us turning our Inceptors into, like, more Ballistus Dreadnoughts and then going heavier into combat and just using the Ballistus Dreadnoughts to pick up tanks and things like that. And using our combat to kill the stuff that we... Yeah, looking at this, I'm pretty confident, actually. Sons of Sanguinius is where we want to be.
Alright, so in that case, we've got this guy who gets...
Yeah, he gets murked, unfortunately.
Okay, so enhancement guy is done. And then we're probably not going to run any Inceptors at that point?
Probably not. We still have a bunch of mission play. And probably none of that. I think we literally just copy the Ballistus and... just run, honestly, 3 of it probably. Just really good outside of any kind of buffs. So if I calculate this, right, you can tell right now, I'm not really sure what direction to take this in. But if we analyze this...
Where's the supreme confidence?
So we have 385 points left.
Okay.
And we have decent mission play. We have good combat. We have... good shooting. I actually don't hate this. There's not really a bad way to fill this out. The way I would probably fill it out is I would probably add like a Blade Guard squad plus a character, plus a chaplain of some kind, just to keep the Death Company doing what you want them to do.
So you thinking the 6 Blade Guard here?
Yeah, I'm thinking 6 Blade Guard. They're not that expensive. They're not amazing outside of Sons of Sanguinius, honestly. But in Sons of Sanguinius, they hit quite damn hard.
Is it 1 word or 2?
Yeah, it's 1 word.
And what is it, 180?
It's 180 for 6.
Okay.
So here's what we could do, right? We can attempt to take another chaplain, gives them +1 to wound, which is very nice. Or we could give them the Judiciar. And the Judiciar makes them fight first and gives them a solid beat stick character.
Any enhancements?
No, not really. Judiciar, it's AR.
Judiciar.
And I believe there's 70 now.
That's pretty cheap.
It's pretty cheap.
And there's nothing in Sons of... No enhancements that are worth adding?
Let's go over this. So, in Sons of Sanguinius, the enhancements... We can give him decent ones, right? We can give him... He becomes tougher. Improve his AP by 1. Give him a 2-up. Save. There's one that's While an enemy is in engage range, have their OC characteristic of their models in their unit, but to minimum of 1. Archangel Shard is he gets Lance and Anti-Chaos 5+ on his weapon, which is pretty good, except for the fact that you can get Lance in a strat. So, there's that. And then finally, anytime your opponent has to fall back from you, they take Desperate Escape. Enhancements are not really the strong suit of Sons of Sanguinius.
That's fair. So what does this leave us at?
So this leaves us at plus 180, plus 70, leaves us at 135 points remaining.
Okay, 135.
135.
Not enough to get an MSU, like another 5-man, or another, like, small combat squad.
It is, actually.
Yeah?
So we can split up. First off, we can just split up a unit of the Death Company. We can leave them together. But we can, for 135, fit a 5-man Death Company in there.
So what are you thinking?
Like a 5-man foot Death Company.
Yeah.
A 5-man foot Death Company is probably pretty good.
Could also go for the Assassins.
We could also go for the Assassins. So if we went for 90 points, we'd end up with 45 points left, which gets us a cheap little nonsense unit.
The Imperial Henchman for 40 points.
Yeah, that's pretty good. The other thing we can do is we could take an Impulsor for the Blade Guard plus Justiciar package.
And what would that leave us with?
That would leave us, I believe it's 85 points. Or it's 80 now.
Yeah, I think it's 80.
That leaves us with 55 points.
No, we can't get another Scout Squad.
Can't get another Scout Squad in there.
Man, the last, 100 points.
It's always the toughest, right? It's always the hardest part of the list.
What?
Damn. Oh my god. Oh. I'm in pain, Seeds.
I like the Impulsor. I like the mobility on the Blade Guard.
Yeah, I think we definitely go with an Impulsor here. Okay. It's 80 points, and Impulsor's pretty damn good.
Alright, so let's throw the Impulsor in here, and then we have what awkward number left?
55. It's not awkward. I know exactly what unit I want to buy with it.
Okay. 80. What are we going for?
Oh, it's Scouts. It's 4th Squad Scouts.
Battle line?
Yeah, no, they're battle line for sure. This is tough, man. So we could drop a 5 Death Company. So it's 10-10-5, and we get another squad of 6 Blade Guard.
I don't mind that. I actually probably like that a lot. I like having 1 5-man, honestly, so that I don't have to commit 10 if I don't want to.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that.
So that's 130, and that's quite cheap. And it's not going to have a character, so it is just a very cheap missile.
Yeah, we could honestly sub out the second unit for a 5-man, and we get like an Impulsor plus a character.
That could also work.
Yeah.
And I have 2 beautifully painted Blood Angel Impulsors.
Oh, I would. That's so weird. That's so weird. Okay, so let's change the second unit to a 5-man. We have 1 10-man with Lamarties that's going to slam. And now let me go through and add points and see how many points this leaves us with. 110 plus 70 plus 165 plus 260 plus 260 plus 40. Unfortunately, they're not in the app yet with the updated points. Okay, that leaves us with a decent number of points. That leaves us with 315.
That's a good amount.
So we could take another squad of Blade Guard.
Yeah, let's just load up here.
Yeah, I mean, Blade Guard are good in Sons of Sanguinius. They are quite good. They hit hard.
Okay, so that'll give us another Blade Guard, and I assume we want a second Impulsor.
I would love a second Impulsor. That leaves us with 55 points left again.
No! Stop! No!
So, do I want a second character with this? The answer is kind of yes. I mean, Justiciars are miserable to try and deal with. If you can't deal with, behind a wall, they just fight first, and it's oh my god, I'm about to take this much damage before they get to swing. Justiciar ones are pretty good. The other options would be something like a captain.
What is 50? How are we getting more points?
We would be cutting scouts, right?
The scouts.
Cutting scouts, because we have Impulsors to run around and do nonsense actions later in the game.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable dropping 1 squad of scouts. I think that's okay. We have 110 points left.
Somehow we're still going to end up with 55 left after this.
What we're going to do is we're going to take a Justiciar, and we're going to take a squad of Inquisitorial Henchmen.
Okay.
And that is going to be on the nose. I need to double check the points because it's not in the app. But if we need to make some 10-point adjustments, I'm sure that's easy. he said.
55 points for
Inquisitorial Acolytes.
Yeah.
Or henchmen, yeah. Henchmen. And that's 40 points. They can literally hold our backfield objective.
Yeah, they are. Or just be in strategic reserves and just go investigate signals. Good sirs.
Okay, this actually feels like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, this feels like a good redundancy. We don't have to overcommit against things. We have tools all over the place.
And everything basically rerolls to hit. The Blade Guard reroll 1s to hit off their ability. Death Company reroll hits at all times. Ballistus reroll hits against things that are above half strength. So then you basically just use Oath for whatever the Sanguinor is going to run after, which I kind of like. I'm not going to lie. Whatever the Sanguinor goes and slams on, he gets them. And the no wound rerolls is definitely hurts. I mean, I could, before this list comes out, I could swap over Judiciaries to Chaplains or something like that. I think you have the points to do that. I think they're pretty dang cheap. The points in the book don't mean anything, but I don't know why I'm looking at them. Chaplain is, yeah, I think a Chaplain is 65. And that would make the unit hit absurdly hard, like 6 Blade Guard coming out of a thing. But I like the Judiciary.
That fight first means they're a good defensive piece as well.
Yeah, you have them behind a wall on an objective. Your opponent just can't really deal with them at all. Mm-hmm. And that's just good.
But yeah, totally an option to switch out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to just quick pull up the old Games Workshop?
Unfortunately, it's not out yet.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. We're allowed to talk about it. We're allowed to say whatever.
It's just not released yet.
It's just not released. So
who knows when it's going to be released?
Does not have it. Yeah. I mean, I would assume it's released with the book, but we have not heard anything to say that.
So hopefully this is basically on the nose.
I know the Blood Angel points, there are no changes in Blood Angels. So the Sanguinor Lamardes and Death Company, that's all correct. Impulsor and Ballistas, I know Ballistas are 140. No questions asked. I know Blade Guard are 180. No questions asked. Inquisitorial Henchmen, that's all fine. I know the points on Scouts. The only thing I'm pretty sure Impulsors are 80, and then Judiciaries at 70, I would need to make sure.
Okay.
But worst comes to worst, if it's 75, one of the Judiciaries stays a Judiciary, the other one becomes a Chaplain, and we're chilling.
All right. Well, I like this list. I think this is going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
This is very similar to the type of list that I would run in 8th edition.
Yes.
With this army.
Just a bunch of stuff.
Just a lot of stuff, good amount of speed, and you got layers. So they're like, okay, I just got hit by 2 Death Company squads. Here come the Blade Guard, baby.
Yeah, those Blade Guard hit, man.
They hit.
On the charge, they get lance and lethal hits. They reroll 1 to hit natively. They have 5 attacks apiece. Like, they are not... They're each like custodians when they hit you. It's not okay. Yeah. And then they fight first. Like custodians.
And you can fight on death with them.
And you can fight on death. Yeah, it's pretty scary.
So I'm really happy with this list. I'm excited to see it on the table. So if you're wondering when we're going to play this, it's going to be the following week. It's going to be up against Quentin's Death Guard, which should be a very interesting game. And I think Blood Angels are going to have a good time.
I think so. I hope so.
Yep. If you like this list, let us know what you thought about it in the comments below. If you're trying other options that you're having success with Blood Angels, let us know in the description. If you're using different detachments, also let us know. We'd be excited. We always read the comments, so always excited to hear what you have to say. And in addition, give us a like, subscribe to the channel. All of that massively helps us grow our YouTube channel and continue providing you with all this 40k content for 10th edition. On top of that, if you want more, we do a ton of extra content pieces every single week in the War Room. Coaching match games. We've got Jack Theory that happens every week. We've got Know Thy Enemy. Tons in different series. So check it out. There's a 3-day free trial, thewarroom.vhx.tv. Sign up. Check it out. Watch as much as you can. And hopefully we'll see you in there. And you also get access to our awesome Discord community.
Absolutely. Very much worth it. If you're looking to...
Come hang out with us in the Discord. Yeah.
You know, do your best. Become your best.
Learn the game, become your best, Jack. Come on.
Ah.
That's the tagline. But thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And I can't wait to see this Blood Angels list on the table. It's going to look amazing. It's going to fight amazing. And we hope you enjoy this one.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much. So long for now.